Hello, good evening everyone. Before we move into the video on answer writing workshop, I have two disclaimers to make. First, I have very bad throat, not due to COVID. And second one, I've just moved into a noisy neighborhood, so please don't mind the noise around. So why answer writing workshop and what is it? Before we move into why, I'll just briefly tell you what it is. So this is a 5-day answer writing workshop. So what is this workshop? So workshop essentially means you are fully focused. You're coming with an attitude to crack answer writing code. You will be practicing so many questions. You will be working along with me, and you will be you'll be writing answers on the group that we're going to create for you. This is going to be an intense 5-day practice session, which is totally mentored and monitored by me. So that's how workshop is different from answer writing initiatives that are usually held online. We have hosted an answer writing initiative on our channel also, but this is different because it's totally based on practice, monitoring and mentoring. Now, how are we going to organize these 5 days? First and foremost, on day 1 you'll be exposed to understanding the spirit of the question. Most often we are lost in the content. What should I write for a particular question? But we lose the essence of what is expected by the examiner. For example, take this question. The 1857 uprising was the culmination of recurrent big and small local rebellions that had occurred in the preceding 100 years of British rule. Elucidate. So, what is the key expectation of this question? Most of the time, students just directly go and answer about 1857 rebellion. That's not the key expectation. The key expectation is for you to prove that 1857 revolt is not just a mutiny of some disappointed soldiers, but also a true struggle for independence by most Indians. That is the key expectation of the question. You have to grasp it. Once you grasp it, right, then you can understand what is explicitly asked and what is implicitly expected of you. What is explicitly asked? It is the culmination of so many big and small local rebellions that occurred in the preceding 100 years. So this is the explicitly asked part. But implicitly asked part is for you to prove that it's not just a sepoy mutiny, but in fact it is a mass movement which is not just by soldiers but by many Indians who are disappointed with British policies. So the explicit asked part is to list down the rebellions, but the implicit expectation is a comment and maybe a reference to policies of British. Now, what additional knowledge can you present here? You can bring down a presentation on some policies of British. So in this way, on day 1, we will be tackling questions so that you are comfortable with the key expectation of question. What is implicitly asked, what is explicitly expected out of you. Once this is clear, day 1 is clear, in day 2, you will be ready to present an introduction, make your arguments and write a conclusion. So day 1 is totally about getting into the mindset of examiner. Try and understand what the examiner is expecting out of you rather than just writing what you know. Fine. So for each and every day, we will give you a journal. We will provide you a journal which has a certain number of questions. You will solve those questions along with me as part of the group in the workshop, and we will decode these parts for each and every single question. And at the end of the day, you will be directed to an online platform where you will also do some answer writing practice. So you can write answers, but we will be evaluating you on that session's inputs. So you can write whole answer, but our evaluation will be whether you have got the essence of question, whether you are able to understand what is implicit and what is explicit, and whether you are able to provide some background information. So this is day 1. Next, moving to day 2. Day 2 is totally about what is the introduction, how can you conclude, what are the various arguments you can make. So, take you for the same question. So, what introduction can you write for this question? We will introduce you to a variety of introductory styles, variety of introductions. Whether it can be contextual, whether it can be fact based, it can be story based, it can be quote based, and also to a set of conclusions. We will provide you a repository of conclusions that you can use, the futuristic, argumentative, opinion based conclusions that we usually see in our editorials. We will try to guide you to make such opinion. In Telugu, we have a strong word for it called Saraghatam. It means like you're finally hammering the nail, right? So the examiner reads everything and then they're like, okay, and then you hit it. Then they say, oh man, that's awesome. So your conclusion has to be present in a way where the examiner is really impressed. So they leave with an impression. Your introduction is a launch pad. And how do you arrange your arguments throughout the answer? So again, for this question, you introduce with a statement on how British policies are responsible for several rebellions, and then you write down various rebellions, and then in conclusion you say this is how we are going to prove that the 1857 revolt is not just a mutiny by some disappointed sepoys, but is a true representative of the disappointment of many Indians across India. Right? So that is your conclusion, which is opinion. You're giving the argument. Next, moving to structuring the body. So this is where we have so many inputs. Usually, how do you present? What diagrams would you use? But before that, the most important part is to use subparts, to decode the subparts of the question, and to understand how much percentage of space you need to give for each part. For this question, the most important expected part is the rebellions, right? There are so many big and small local rebellions across India, and that is the major part. So you have to give almost 60% of your space to the explicit part. 10% you can give to your intro, 10% you can give to your conclusion, 10% to your implicit part, and then 10% you can give for background information. This is how you structure your answer. So not just breaking down into subparts, but how do you connect those subparts? So you wrote an introduction. Will you directly move into next part, or you want to use some connector statement? So using powerful connector statements also holds the key to making a logical and flow driven answer. So we will expose you to connecting statements, how to write some powerful statements, and to know breaking down the space. Again, each day in day 2 and day 3 and day 4, day 5 also, you will be having the answer writing marathon going on simultaneously on online platform. You will be writing answers and we will be providing feedback on the instructions of the day. So on day 2, if the instructions are about writing effective introductions, conclusions, and breaking down your body. So what are you going to present in your body? If you are able to do it, then we are going to give you feedback on the same. Next, structuring the body. You have to break down the subparts. What is the percentage of space each needs and what connecting statements you can make. Day 5 is the presentation style. Most often the conversation is only on presentation style, but very less on what you have to present, right? So what you have to present holds the key. Then comes presentation style. So here you can use a tree diagram. You can use a side box for presenting various policies of British very briefly. Okay, so forest laws, ban on shifting cultivation, interference in religion, next military policies like asking them to go overseas, next with respect to peasants, their land revenue. So few policy names you can just write. So this is a background information, you're not directly writing it, but this is the key, right? So this holds the reason as to why these people are protesting, but you can't give it so much space. So what do? You can use a side box to give some information in the background, and then write your struggles as a tree diagram, and then break out each tree into various parts. I'm going to give you a sample of how you do this answer writing mental rehearsal. And again, you will be given journals for each of these days. You will be drawing these diagrams, you will be drawing those side boxes, you will be made to use value addition techniques. We will give you a variety of value addition techniques, and you will be made to use all of them in your answers. Next, piecing it all together, day 5 is when you're going to write a full answer. So, introduction. Since the Battle of Plassey, British consolidated their power through a series of legislations and policies. These interfered with various sections of Indians and led to several rebellions. Simple. So I am going to take them into an answer. Instead of directly starting with various rebellions, why those rebellions happened? I just asked why. And I got an introduction. Now in the body, what are those various rebellions? I write tribal, peasant, civil, military rebellions. So list them down. Tribal, 1 Santal, 2 Polygar, then write the reasons. Brief, very brief, because you don't have space. And then go on. This is taking up lots of your space. And in a side box, you just brief various policies. But what is implicitly asked is the 1857 uprising. This is the culmination of several, but they asked you to elucidate. So you have to make a comment on what happened in 1857 uprising also. So these are the protests that happened before 1857, and all this led to, in 1857, a mutiny that started in Uttar Pradesh and came all the way to Delhi and joined several people. It's joined by several Indians across the country, and this is why, in the conclusion, unlike what is said by British historians, 1857 revolt isn't just a protest by frustrated soldiers, but it truly represents the resentment of many Indians, thus making it a first war of Indian independence. So this is how in the conclusion you are ending with an opinion that directly hammers the point expected by examiner. So this is what is expected, and you're directly hitting it on the nail. Right, so this is the answer writing workshop. Through those 5 days of intense practice using journals, we are going to make you write answers, and we are going to mentor you through answer writing process. So usual challenges we all face, we have writer's block, so we don't write, or we write so many answers without any structure in our mind. Our answer writing workshop will get you out of the lethargy and make you write answers, because we have journals that force you, and we will have an online marathon that is going on simultaneously along with this workshop, so that each one of you will be given feedback on the answers you're making. And we will also provide you frameworks. There are unique styles that you have to follow for a GS1 answer. GS2, 3 are somewhat similar, and GS4 answer. GS1 you have to provide technicality or some background information. GS2 and 3 is more about context. GS4 is about your argument. So what are the various frameworks that you can use for GS1, 2, 3, 4 answers? We have a ready set of frameworks that we're going to share with you, and we want you to use them. And you'll be practicing 100 plus questions through the journals, through the online marathon that will go on. and through the final day of answer writing practice, so that helps you consolidate your writing practice altogether. And we will also provide you with a repository of diagrams, arguments, writing styles, so that by the time of exam you have your writing style ready. And there is this most powerful technique, I believe this is most powerful, of mental practicing. Instead of writing tens of questions every day and thousands of questions before exam, just spending time with the question and trying to decode it mentally. So the moment you look at this question, 1857 uprising, culmination of many big and small local rebellions, so what do? Immediately, okay, so what is the essence of this question, what are they trying to ask, how can I introduce it? Okay, so I'm going to just say that many British policies are responsible, and they're responsible for XYZ rebellions. These are the rebellions that happened, and they have all led to 1857 revolt. Thus, I'm proving that 1857 revolt isn't just a Sepoy uprising, but is a struggle by Indians. That's it. In the background, maybe I have to just provide some policies. So this kind of mental rehearsal, as you keep doing for more questions, you'll be extremely confident in writing answers. Trust me, you nail this practice and you'll be good. And next, you will have a thorough idea on how to write intro, conclusion, body, tables, diagrams, writing in time, everything. We're going to tackle UPSC syllabus in toto through the writing course. And what is the key objective is in answer writing. None of us have this ease in answer writing. So you should feel very confident when you're writing answer. I want you to experience that state, because as I'm talking now, one of my friend and student is appearing for his public service commission exam, state public service commission exam, and is extremely happy with the frameworks that we use through the mentorship course. So he is applying all those in the exam hall and is finding ease in answer writing. So that ease is what I'm aiming at, and I have scored 420 plus in my GS papers, again because of the use of similar techniques of answer writing. So I want you to experience this workshop, and we only have one strong precondition. You should be present all days. There are no recordings available because this is purely experience based workshop. You will not be given any support beyond the classroom. So classroom support, marathon support, that's it. So if you're not present in the classroom, sorry, we cannot help you. And one minor prerequisite is you should have some knowledge of GS papers. If you have not read the syllabus, if you didn't read syllabus, sorry, you'll not be able to make the most of this workshop. So you should have read syllabus once, whole syllabus once, and you should have made some effort at answer writing. If you have made some effort at answer writing, you know the difficulty in pinning down your thoughts. So someone who has read, someone who has tried to write, this workshop is for you. And if you are writing mains multiple times but not able to increase your score, please, this workshop is for you. I am sure this will break the barriers that you're having in writing a free flowing answer. On that note, we'll catch up with you guys soon. Please coordinate with C2S, reach out for any queries. See ya, bye.